So my sister was in town, right? And she was like, "Hey, you want to get some Mexican food?" And I was like, "Okay." And she was like, "Okay." And so we hopped in the car and we went to go get some Mexican food at the Mexican food restaurant. And it was like, and so like we sat down and we like talked and like we talked like caught up like, "Hey, like sis, like what's going on, sis?" Turns out she's graduating in like a week from college. And so I found that out. That's pretty cool. She turned 21 about a year ago. That's pretty cool. So like I found out like normal things that I probably should know, and like she learned about like normal things that she probably should know. Like, oh, you're in college, and I was like, oh, you're graduating. Um, so anywho, we were like eating Mexican food and like talking about life, and like one thing led to another, and we started talking about my dad, and like my dad's a pretty cool dude. Like he's kind of funny. Like end of October, um he starts sending me these birthday cards like for my birthday. My birthday like a couple months later, like 6 months later, in like March or whatever. However many I don't know, however many months later that is. And it's like, happy birthday. And I'm like, oh, thanks, but my birthday's not now. And then he sends me another one. Happy birthday, 2016. Another one. Happy birthday, 2017. Happy birthday, 2018, in case I forget. And he gets all the neighbors. He gets all the neighbors, like, to send me birthday cards. And I'm like, oh my goodness, it's gracious. It's not even my birthday. And you guys are all sending me birthday cards. And so I thought it was hilarious, actually. It wasn't until a couple months later when I realized that it probably was him being a little bit passive. And I realized, oh my goodness gracious, I forgot my dad's birthday. Because I did. I forgot flat out forgot my dad's birthday. And he handled it beautifully. Like, he sent me birthday cards. Like, thanks, Dad. But, like I felt kind of bad about that, like as anyone would. But like at that point when I realized it, it was like 6 months later. It was like a couple of weeks ago. And I was like, oh, do I apologize or do I just send them a birthday card next year? So that's what I'm gonna do. I learned his birthday too, and I have my sister reminding me that his birthday's coming up. And so then like I told her that story, and it was kind of funny, and we started kind of like laughing a little bit, and we were like, hey, what are we gonna do for Father's Day? And we kind of like figured out the plans, and then we were like, hey, do you know if Dad has a girlfriend? And I was like, I don't know. Like, he has a best friend, and he has like this girl that's always around, and like he says that this one woman number one is like his best friend, but then there's always woman number two, and like both of them are like there, and it's kind of like so like two women always following him, like good for you, Dad, but like, are you dating either of them? And like I asked him flat out last week, I was like, Dad, are you dating anyone? And well, my parents are divorced. And like I know that my mom has been on a couple of dates, and I'm like okay with it. Like, you told me, I trust your judgment. Like I go all like Mama Bird on my mom sometimes. It's like, like no, look at his ass. Like, why are you dating him, Mom? Like, do you not see that ass? Like, what are you smoking, Mom? Like, look at that guy's ass. And she's, well, yeah, but like, he's kind of cute. Like, look at his face. And I'm like, Mom, his ass. Look at his ass, Mom. And she's like, but like his face. Oh no, you're right. You're right, hun. You're right, honey bunches of oats. His ass is wrong. But like, we can always agree on Johnny Depp. Like I just want to like, I don't know, like kill a pig, skin it, take the bacon off of wherever the bacon comes from a pig, cook it on Johnny Depp, and and eat the bacon. So, anyways, like me and my mom have a very open relationship. It's like, yeah, I know you're going on the dates, mom. Like, I'm glad about that. But like with my dad, it's like I have no idea if you're dating, and like my sister's like, I don't know if he's dating anyone. And like we have pretty strong suspicions. We think we know who he's dating, but we're not actually sure. Um, so so there's that. So like last week, I was like, Dad, are you dating anyone? And it was like the most uncomfortable. Like I don't even know how long, but I was like, and topic change. So like never got like a real answer. It was like, oh yeah, like and so like turns out like I have no idea if he's dating. So like my dad's not like the best with like this whole communication thing. You know what I'm saying? So like at first, but I'm like you never really like ask. I don't know if he knows that that I've ever had a girlfriend. Like I mean, like he doesn't know. Like I don't know if he knows that I was dating that first girl or the second girl or like any of them or like the one I'm dating now. It's just like kind of like a don't ask, don't tell kind of relationship. But I'm like kind of curious, like because I just don't want to get invited to his wedding and be like, wait, you started dating? Like, when did you start dating, Dad? Like, where'd you meet this girl, Dad? Like, is my new mom like cool? Like, is she gonna send me to my room? Like, like, is she even a good mom? Like, why should she be my new mom, Dad? Like you know, like I don't want to get invited to her wedding, to their wedding, and just be like, oh, you've been dating 10 years, and I've never met you once. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so like I was just kind of like, Dad, I kind of want to know like if you're dating, but it was like an uncomfortable like. So like I still don't know if he's dating anyone, and like even worse would be like I get invited to their 25th wedding anniversary because like I never got invited. Like that'd be kind of awkward. So I don't know. So anywho, we were kind of laughing about the communication of my dad, like and just like oh it's kind of funny, like like is he dating? And so we were laughing about it, and like my sister was like laughing, and she was like, "Oh man, like I was so pissed when I found out that my dad had that dad had a heart attack, and like I didn't find out the 3 months after the fact. So like my dad had a heart attack like 3 years ago, and I was still in high school and I was working on a group project and I had like this nice relationship with my teacher. Like I was after school and she was, and I found out my dad was in the hospital and I found out he was in the hospital and it was like oh that's just something minor. I'll be home for dinner. Um, so I'm like, okay. Like, I told my teacher I was after school working on a project due the next day that my group members didn't help me out on. And she's, oh, like, I'll give you extended time if you want. That was a great teacher. And I was like, nah, I don't need it. It's just something minor. So, so that's when my dad had a heart attack. And see, my sister was laughing about that heart attack. She was like, oh man, I didn't find out about it till till 3 months after, and I was pissed. I was like, man, why didn't you tell me? And I was like, what? Dad had a heart attack? When did this happen? What? And she was like, you didn't know Dad had a heart attack? And I was like, Dad had a heart attack? So, turns out my dad had a heart attack, and I kind of remember it, but like brushed it off because like I was told it was nothing important, like oh just a hospital, like dehydrated, and like that's what he told me. He was like, oh I'm just dehydrated, and like he gave me this whole story. He was like, oh it was kind of weird. I was in the hotel, and I'm like. I kind of remember like oh like I was stumbled a little bit because I was like so dehydrated. Doctor was like, ah yeah, you're really dehydrated. So I find out 3 years later that it was actually a heart attack. things. Because like it's not that like I need to know because like I don't need to know, but like it'd be nice to know my family medical history. So like communication would be kind of nice. Like because like so what? So what if it's not a family thing? Like what if it was totally freak accident? Like you had a Greasy Grease burger from like Greasy Bears or like the Greasy Goat in Arkansas. And it was like a goat slabbered in bacon, deep fried with American cheese on top. Then deep fried, 3 fried Oreos, deep fried on a bun, deep fried, and then on a bun. Like, of course you're gonna get a heart attack. But like, see, if it was like that, why didn't you tell me? Like, so that I wouldn't be nervous? Well, I find that 3 years later and it's like, Dad got a heart attack? And now I'm like processing and like kids will find out. So like if you're a dad or like a mom, just tell your kid. Cause like I found out 3 years later. Now I'm like, is this a family medical thing? Like, should I be concerned for my future? But like, I was never told. So I don't know. I didn't ask the questions. I found out 3 years later that maybe I'm at risk for having a heart attack. Whereas if I was told 3 years ago, I could have asked the appropriate questions to find out if I was at risk of a heart attack. So I guess what I'm trying to say is communication is kind of cool. And like, why hide things? Tell people. Just say what's going on. It doesn't matter. Like you're not gonna scare anyone. You're gonna scare someone more if you don't communicate. But like, I found out 3 years later, and I was like, like remember that time when Dad didn't tell us that he had a heart attack? Hilarious! And I'm like, I didn't know Dad had a heart attack. This Mexican food is really good, sis. Yeah, that's my story.